Imagine a 20-year-old who not only inherits a kingdom, but goes on to conquer half the known world, an influencer before influencers existed. What if I told you that the man behind the myth, Alexander the Great, wasn't just a ruthless warrior, but a master strategist whose daring ideas still ripple through our culture today? Today, we're diving deep into the life of a young king whose bold decisions and legendary campaigns continue to spark debate and inspire awe more than 2 millennia later. We all picture Alexander as a fearless conqueror, brandishing his sword, riding his beloved steed Bucephalus, and carving his name into history with every decisive battle. But beneath the dazzling veneer lies a labyrinth of contradictions and mysteries. Born under ominous celestial signs and tutored by Aristotle, Alexander's life was steeped in myth as much as in hard-won victory. He claimed divine ancestry and wasn't afraid to rewrite the rules of warfare with a single audacious stroke, like when he sliced the legendary Gordian knot in half, defying centuries of tradition. In today's era of instant branding and viral moments, it's fascinating to consider that Alexander might have been the ultimate master of narrative, using each victory to build an empire not just of land, but of enduring legend. Act 1. Origins, the making of a legend. Born in 356 BC in Pella, the ancient capital of the Kingdom of Macedon, Alexander was indeed destined for more than a normal royal upbringing. His lineage was steeped in power and ambition. His father, Philip II of Macedon, was a king who had revolutionized warfare and transformed Macedonia into a military powerhouse, admired and feared throughout Greece. His mother, Olympias, Princess of Epirus, was known for her strong will and mystical inclinations, further imbuing his early years with myth and prophecy. Ancient historians like Plutarch and Arrian recount extraordinary omens surrounding Alexander's birth. They wrote of the temple of Artemis at Ephesus burning down on the very night he was born, interpreted by priests as a sign that a new, world-altering force had arrived. Reports tell of other divine flames and portentous dreams, as if the gods themselves had signaled the arrival of a hero. These legends were not mere bedtime stories. They profoundly shaped Alexander's self-image and were later skillfully used as political propaganda to bolster his claim to power and divine favor. Alexander's education was unparalleled for any ruler of his time. At the age of 13, he became a student of Aristotle. Yes, that Aristotle, one of history's greatest philosophers. For 3 years in the Temple of the Nymphs at Myeza, Aristotle tutored him not only in philosophy but also in logic, ethics, politics, and even natural sciences, literature, and medicine. Aristotle's influence ignited in young Alexander a burning curiosity and a deep appreciation for Greek culture. He was known to sleep with a copy of Homer's Iliad and envisioned himself as a new Achilles. This classical Greek education would later profoundly influence his approach to governance and his interactions with the diverse cultures of the conquered lands. Imagine a boy learning about the heroic deeds of Achilles and the democratic ideals of Athens, all while simultaneously undergoing rigorous military training under his father. His formative years were a unique blend of intellectual stimulation and battlefield preparation. He learned about leadership and the art of war alongside the epic narratives of myth, preparing him to think strategically, to appreciate cultural synthesis, and to believe, perhaps even to live, the notion that his destiny was divinely ordained. Moreover, the Macedonian court was an environment where storytelling and symbolism were paramount. Stories of his divine parentage, propagated by Olympias herself, who hinted that Zeus, king of the gods, was his true father, became a cornerstone of his legend. Such narratives served as a powerful tool in uniting diverse peoples under his rule, offering a divine rationale for his extraordinary ambitions and setting him apart from ordinary rulers. Act 2. The Unexpected Turn, a boy king with a bold vision. In 336 BC, tragedy struck when Philip II was assassinated. At the incredibly young age of 20, Alexander was suddenly thrust onto the Macedonian throne at a time of immense uncertainty and instability. Almost immediately, he faced the daunting challenge of quelling revolts among the Greek city-states, who saw Philip's death as an opportunity to regain their independence. Rebellions erupted swiftly in Athens, Thebes, and Thessaly as news of his father's death spread like wildfire. Rather than engaging in lengthy diplomacy or cautious negotiations, Alexander responded with breathtaking speed and decisiveness that would become his hallmark. One of his earliest and most famous military actions was the brutal subjugation of Thebes, when the city not only refused to accept his rule, but also slaughtered Macedonian troops in their territory. Alexander marched his army with incredible speed, covering over 300 miles in just 2 weeks, and laid siege to Thebes. After breaking through the city walls, he razed it to the ground, sparing only the temples and the house of the poet Pindar. This ruthless act sent a shock wave throughout Greece, effectively crushing any further widespread resistance and cementing Macedonian dominance. It also established Alexander's reputation as a leader who balanced ruthless efficiency with dramatic flair, understanding the power of psychological warfare. Then there was the legendary Gordian knot in Gordium, Phrygia, a complex knot tied by King Gordius, so intricate that legend claimed whoever could untie it would rule all of Asia. Upon arriving in Gordium, Alexander was presented with this seemingly intractable puzzle, said to represent the unsolvable problems of his time. Instead of attempting to unravel the knot in the traditional, painstaking manner expected of him, Alexander, in a moment of decisive action, reportedly drew his sword and cleaved the knot in two with a single stroke. While some accounts suggest he used a pin to loosen it and then untied it, the most popular version of the story highlights his audacious approach. This act was more than mere theatrics. It symbolized his willingness to break with convention, to think outside the box, and to find direct, often unconventional solutions to achieve his ends. His actions at the Gordian knot perfectly foreshadowed his later campaigns across Asia, where his unconventional strategies and bold decisions often turned overwhelming odds into decisive victories. With Greece secured and his reputation solidified, Alexander turned his ambitions eastward, embarking on a campaign against the Persian Empire that would forever alter the ancient world. His series of battles against the vast Persian forces at the Granicus River in 334 BC, Issus in 333 BC, and the monumental clash at Gaugamela in 331 BC demonstrated not only his exceptional tactical genius but also his uncanny ability to inspire fierce loyalty and courage in his men. Facing armies that often far outnumbered his own, Alexander skillfully adapted the traditional Macedonian phalanx formation. He combined its heavy infantry power with rapid, decisive cavalry maneuvers, often leading the cavalry charges himself. This innovative combined arms approach, utilizing both heavy infantry and mobile cavalry in coordinated attacks, proved devastatingly effective against the more static Persian armies and is still studied in military academies today as a prime example of ancient military strategy. Later in India, Alexander faced King Porus at the Battle of the Hydaspes River in 326 BC. This encounter further tested his mettle and his army's endurance. Porus's army, equipped with war elephants, presented a terrifying and unfamiliar challenge to the Macedonians. Despite his troops, weary from years of campaigning, balking at the prospect of further conquest, and longing to return home, Alexander managed to secure a hard-fought, albeit costly, victory. Impressed by Porus's bravery, Alexander not only reinstated him as a ruler but forged a strategic alliance with his former enemy. These grueling campaigns were punctuated by moments of immense personal risk and extraordinary leadership, from leading charges on the front lines to navigating the treacherous Gedrosian desert on the return from India, and managing the emotional toll of personal losses, such as the profound grief he experienced after the death of his dearest friend Hephaestion. Alexander pushed himself and his men to the absolute limits of human endurance. Act 3, Lasting Impact, a legacy that still resonates. Alexander's conquest achieved far more than just carving out the largest empire the ancient world had ever seen. They ignited a cultural revolution that profoundly shaped the Mediterranean and Near Eastern worlds for centuries. As he and his army advanced through Asia, Alexander strategically founded over 20 new cities and renamed several others in his name, most famously Alexandria in Egypt. These were not just military outposts, but were deliberately designed to become vibrant epicenters of Hellenistic culture, learning, commerce, and artistic innovation. Alexandria, in particular, became a beacon of knowledge, housing the legendary Library of Alexandria and the Museum, attracting scholars and thinkers from across the known world. These urban centers became crucial hubs where Greek ideas, language, and customs met and blended with local traditions and knowledge, fostering a rich cultural exchange that laid the foundations for the Hellenistic age. This era witnessed the widespread dissemination of the Greek language. Koine Greek became the lingua franca of the region, and Hellenistic culture as far east as modern-day Pakistan and India. This cultural fusion profoundly influenced nearly every aspect of life, from art and architecture, evident in the Greco-Buddhist art of Gandhara, to advancements in science, mathematics, philosophy, and literature throughout the Hellenistic kingdoms. His military innovations have become a subject of enduring study for military strategists throughout history. Alexander's strategic use of combined arms tactics, particularly the coordinated employment of the Macedonian phalanx with cavalry assaults, was revolutionary for its time, and his campaigns are still analyzed in military academies globally. They serve as a prime example of how adaptability, boldness, and effective logistics can overcome numerical disadvantages, a timeless lesson in warfare. His methods of rapid army movement, combined arms tactics, and psychological warfare reshape the very conduct of battle and continue to echo in military doctrines even in the modern era. Yet perhaps the most enduring and fascinating aspect of Alexander's legacy is the way his life, personality, and actions have transcended history to become a powerful cultural touchstone. Even in modern media, from blockbuster films and historical novels to contemporary literature and video games, Alexander's persona is constantly reimagined, reinterpreted, and often heavily mythologized. His dramatic life story, full of triumphs and tragedies, punctuated by the profound mystery surrounding his sudden death in Babylon in 323 BC at the young age of 32, has inspired endless debate and speculation. Was he poisoned, as some ancient sources suggest? Did he succumb to illness, perhaps malaria or typhoid, exacerbated by the rigors of constant warfare and heavy drinking? Or was it a combination of factors? The exact cause of his death remains one of history's great unsolved mysteries, further adding to the enigma of his larger-than-life persona and rule. The ensuing power struggles and wars of succession among his generals, known as the Diadochi, led to the fragmentation of his vast unified empire into several Hellenistic kingdoms, each vying for supremacy. This chaotic aftermath further adds to the complex and multifaceted legacy of his reign. Ultimately, this unique blend of unparalleled military brilliance, ambitious cultural integration, and enduring myth-making has allowed Alexander the Great to endure as a potent symbol of visionary leadership, boundless ambition, and the transformative power of a single individual to reshape the course of history. His ability to inspire, to innovate, and to challenge the status quo continues to captivate scholars, military strategists, and dreamers alike over 2 millennia after his death. In a way, Alexander's incredible story serves as a foundational blueprint for understanding how a single, driven individual can indelibly reshape the world, and his profound influence remains visible in nearly every corner of Western and even Eastern culture. So, here's a question to ponder. If Alexander the Great were born in today's world, with his ambition, strategic mind, and charisma, would he be a tech visionary launching the next revolutionary technology, a transformative political leader reshaping nations, or perhaps a global cultural icon influencing billions and reshaping global trends? His extraordinary ability to seamlessly blend audacious military tactics with a relentless drive to merge diverse cultures shows us that true, impactful leadership often requires rewriting the established rules of engagement, whether those battles are fought on ancient fields of war or in the modern arenas of boardrooms and global politics. What do you think? Could the spirit of Alexander's bold vision and innovative approach inspire a modern-day renaissance in leadership and innovation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, challenge my perspective if you disagree, and let's start a conversation about how history's most famous conqueror might have thrived or even revolutionized our world today. As Alexander the Great once showed us, there is nothing impossible to him who will try. If this journey into his legendary life sparked your curiosity, please hit like, subscribe to Retold History, and tap that notification bell so you never miss another epic tale. Remember, our past is far more than dates and battles. It's the blueprint for understanding our present and forging our future.